All right, we're going to keep firing away. We have pitchers 11 through 15 to go through today for starting pitcher rankings, fantasy baseball season 2020. So today we're going to tackle pitchers such as Clayton Kershaw, Luis Castillo, Patrick Corbin, Charlie Morton, and Lucas Giolito. All right, so let's go ahead and start with Clayton Kershaw, one of this generation's best pitchers. So Kershaw, pitchers going to have injuries, especially, oh boy, that's not how you spell it, especially later on in their careers. Kershaw, he's getting close to my 180 innings pitch though. Even with all these injuries, he's still out there, still hitting it. So about that 180 is where I want them to be, and he's almost there. He's like 178, 175. So I'm okay with that. But look at this, the K per 9. Let's look at his individual stats. The K per 9 used to be there 10, 11, 10, and then he's dipping back down. The walks per 9, his career average is 2.28. Earlier on in his career, not very good with the walks per 9. But once he settled in, he had these great seasons where he was not giving up walks, upper 20s K minus walk. He's kind of, dipping back down. It looks like his career kind of peaked here, and now we're plateauing down, and I don't know if he's going to be able to reach back and get to the status that he was in, like, 2014 to 2017. That was peak Kershaw, regular season Kershaw there. So some concerns there. Swing and strike. He's got fairly nasty stuff. Again, this was the peak here, 14s, 15s. Now he's back down. Not elite. He's still got the name value. You can throw that name out there and it's going to hit. People are going to want to draft him. They're going to be like, oh, fourth round Clayton Kershaw still here. Let me grab him. Maybe don't. Look at the fastball velocity way down. That's concerning. Honestly, I don't even want to look at any more stats. This is making me depressed. Clayton Kershaw, you're young, man. He's only going to be age 32 this year. You look at the ERA and WHIP. Yes, the past couple of years still very good. It's good to have a pitcher like this on your team. If you can pair him with one of the aces that are already ranked number 10, you're going to be very solid. He's not a bad pitcher, but right now I'm just comparing him, to all these other guys that we've already talked about. And looking at his career, he's just not his peak self, So let's just see. So who would be next? Blake Snell. Do I want Blake Snell or Clayton Kershaw? Couple really good lefties. Give me Blake Snell. Honestly, between the two of these, it's not even that much of a question for me. Yes, Blake Snell has the concerns with the walks. He does. But he kind of makes up for it with the Ks. Look at the K minus walk percentage. Blake Snell's going to outperform there, even with the walks. I think the Ks help him a little more in the K category. Is going to boost him a bit. Giving up less home runs than Kershaw the past couple of years. The swinging strike stuff is just nasty. Blake Snell is just going to be such a good pitcher. Contact, 18%. That was wrong. 63% contact. I'm curious to see if we go to the leaders, pitching leaders. I feel like the contact percentage for pitchers should match up fairly well. Is it batted ball? Contact. Should match up fairly well as swing and strike. So who's the highest swing and strike? Let's do minimum 100 innings pitched so that Blake Snell shows up here. So swing and strike percentage. So you got Block A Snell, number 1. But then if you sort by contact, who's giving up the least amount of contact? It's going to be Blake Snell. Blake Snell. All these guys who got 16, 15s, they're going to be up here for lowest contact. So Blake Snell, I got to keep him over Kershaw for sure. And so, you know, even looking at that, that's such an amazing stat. Maybe I put Blake Snell over Strasburg. You know, the walks do bother me, but Strasburg's walks aren't like elite. They're like mid-low twos. Honestly, I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to put Blake Snell over Steven Strasburg. Just with that nasty stuff, you don't see that in a lot of pitchers. And Blake Snell, if he can get his control, you know, get his pitching a little more under control, you know, I think that he can, you know, really jump possibly up the top 5 territory this year. Clayton Kershaw is going to fall there. And then next, Luis Castillo, who we just saw pop up on the lowest contact rate, Luis Castillo, and very, very respectable swinging strike rate at 15.9. That puts him at number 5 overall from last year, just behind these studs that we've already talked about, sandwiched in between DeGrom. So Luis Castillo has some really, really good stuff. The thing with Luis Castillo, though, it's kind of, I haven't actually looked at these stats, but I think it's kind of a tale of two halves. He really started off the season strong, and then I feel like he faded off a little bit. Less innings pitched in the second half, higher ERA. That's not good. 2.29 to 4.78. That's not great. WOBA went up. A little opposite of a Jack Flaherty, I guess. Ks per 9 remained about the same. He even cut the walks in the second half, so what the heck happened there? Better K minus walk percentage in the second half. Okay. Why did the ERA go up? I don't know. Was it the home run per fly ball? Is that on here? He gave up more home runs in the second half. You know, so the xFIP is a little more representative. You know, so honestly, I'm okay with Luis Castillo, even though this ERA jump in the second half, I don't think it's entirely his fault. The peripheral numbers still look decent for him either way, first and second half. Home run to fly ball, it went up to 22.8%. Like, that's way above league average. You look at Luis Castillo and what his career average is, you know, the 20+% in the second half, you know, that's like just bad luck at that point, I'd say. Well, he's like 17% career average, which is way above league average. That might be the highest that we've seen so far. So he's prone to, you know, giving up that home run. Or maybe does he just give up less fly balls? And maybe that translates as it. A lot of ground balls. Let me see. Maybe that's it. Then that could skew the numbers. If he doesn't give up many fly balls, then his home run to fly ball might be skewed high just because, you know, he's going to give up some home runs, and with a smaller fly ball. Yeah, see, he gives up barely any fly balls last year. Look at that, 26% compared to those two guys who gave it up a little more. His ground ball is over 50%. So he's a ground ball pitcher, and that might skew that home run to fly ball rate a little bit, which is going to skew his xFIP. So he's got nasty stuff. Do I take him over Clayton Kershaw? Yes, I do. I'm not a fan of Kershaw this year. Look at this. The fastball velocity, the swing and strike alone should tell you that Luis Castillo is a much better pitcher than Kershaw. Luis Castillo versus Blake Snell. Castillo's got him on the velocity. Castillo does not have him on the swing and strike, but Castillo's got really good stuff. Both of them give up minimal contact. More ground balls for Castillo, less fly balls for Castillo. The home run to fly ball is, I think, skewed. So this is where we fall into some trouble. I told you that I thought that Blake Snell's walk per 9 were bad, but Luis Castillo is going to frustrate you as an owner with those walks per 9. His K minus walk percentage is below 20. That's not very good. You know, so Luis Castillo, he needs to get back to at least this 2.6 walk per 9. He's got to get under 3. If he can get under 3 or low 3, if he's not going to match Blake Snell's K potential, but he could be good. I need to see him get to like 22, 23% here, and I need to see this get to like low 3s. I need him to get closer to his career average of 3.2. But I'll put him over Kershaw. I can't put him over Snell, though. I think Snell has way more upside. But Kershaw is going to be a very good pitcher, but I just got to chase the upside here. The younger pitcher, a little more velocity, a little more zip to it. Oh, actually, I forgot to switch Strasburg and Snell. But with these walk, I mean, this walk is just bad. I mean, you get you know, at his best, Luis Castillo's walks were right around where Strasburg is, but Strasburg, I trust more than Castillo. I do, so I got to keep Strasburg where he's at and Castillo where he's at. All right, next one on the list. We're going to go with a little Patrick Corbin action. There we go. Washington National. All right, so he's going to get you your innings pitched. No concern there. Pace, he's above 10. Very, very respectable. Walks, decent amount of walks, okay? If we're looking at career averages, better than Castillo, better than Blake Snell. Kershaw's been phenomenal his entire career. Like, that's amazing stats right there. Briefly looking through. Castillo's swing and strike is like 14, 15. So that's excellent stuff. It's better than Kershaw stuff, honestly. His velocity's not there though, but does that matter? Maybe not. So like Castillo versus Corbin, because that's going to be the matchup. Because I will put Corbin over Kershaw. Kershaw's really on the downslide. I feel. Corbin's got better swing and strike percentage, even better velocity, even though it's not phenomenal. It's better than Kershaw's. The BABIP is around career average for Corbin. A little more K upside for Corbin. He walks a little more though, so like if we're looking at whip, he's gonna be like just over 1 or 1 teens maybe. Like Kershaw's gonna win in whip category. If you're going based solely on categories, Kershaw's gonna win in whip. Kershaw might win in wins, maybe quality starts. Ks, I think Corbin's got you with the Ks, and then ERA is kind of gonna be a toss-up / Kershaw's gonna win. So Kershaw won ERA, whip, and potentially wins. 3 out of 4. So based on that alone, you would put Kershaw over Corbin. But I'm looking at the stats. I'm looking at the peripherals. I'm looking at potential, or at least what I see in the potential. And what I see is that, if Corbin can cut his walks down to like this 289, I think he's going to be a better pitcher than Kershaw this year, honestly. But then I'm looking at Castillo versus Corbin. I mean, this walk rate for Castillo is just abysmal. Corbin last year was over 3 as well. So it's going to be a toss-up between the two. And I think Castillo, I got to trust his stuff a little more as far as the swing and strike percentage, the fastball velocity. He's throwing more ground balls. Over 50% ground balls, less fly balls than all these pitchers. Like Castillo is nasty. And what is it? What is it about it? Is it it's his changeup? His changeup is one of his best pitches, honestly. Like look at this consisting with the changeup with Castillo. 1 is average. He's getting up to like 3s. Like Castillo's just insane with that changeup, and that's inducing the ground ball. So I can't put Corbin over Castillo. I just can't do it. But he can go over Kershaw. And I found another error. Sorry, it's not Berg, it's Berg. Castillo, honestly, got nasty stuff. If you see Castillo like the first couple months and he's really cutting down that walk rate and he's down below 3 walks per 9 innings pitched, maybe try to trade for him. Like he has potential to be like up by the Flaherty Bueller region if he can get his control under control. Um, just my 2 cents. Okay. So next we have Charlie Morton. I owned him a couple years ago, and he's a very, very solid player. Let's just take a look at his individual stats real quick before we put him up in comparison. So, dealing with the Pirates, the Phillies, the Astros, and last year the Tampa Bay Rays. He's older. He's going to be age 36 this year. And then we look at innings pitched. So he is not a guy that's consistently going to get you 180 innings pitched, which is going to factor into my rankings here. But look at the last 3 years. 10 plus K per 9. He's walking a fair amount. Career average 3 over 3 walks per 9. That's not that great. Not compared to like people we've already seen. It's not going to hit 20. Last year he did. He had a great season last season, 2019. But I don't love the stats there. Swing and strike, low teens, 12, almost 13. That's pretty good. And mid-90s fastball. He hasn't dropped off that much. I mean, 95.7 to 94.4, but he's still above 94. Some of these other guys we've seen are still like low 90s, like Kershaw. So like if I look Kershaw or Morton, who am I going to favor? Last year, his curveball was a very good pitch for him, and his cutter. All right, so let's put him up against Kershaw because that's who's there. Let's see, Charlie Morton. Okay. Looking at him and Kershaw. I like Kershaw, honestly, for the innings pitched. More consistency there for Kershaw. The strikeouts per 9, okay, Morton's got him there, but Kershaw with the lower walks. Kershaw's going to give you a 3 ERA, like a 1 whip, like absolutely. The strikeout upside for Morton gave him the higher K minus walk percentage. We're looking at FIP. XFIP. Last year, Morton outperforming with peripheral stats. Then you look at these numbers here, like the ERA, Kershaw's winning past 3 years. The WHIP, Kershaw's winning the last 3 years. So like with the pitchers, the thing is these peripheral stats aren't always going to translate. But I feel like I have to go off them because they're the foundation for what these pitchers are doing. So that's just how I feel about it. And then we look at it's like the contact, a little less contact for Morton than Kershaw. About the same profile there, not too dissimilar. Less hard hit contact for Morton. Swing and strike exactly the same. Past couple of years, the velocity, Morton's up there. In Morton's second season in Tampa Bay, maybe he's a little more comfortable with the environment. Okay, all right. So let's say I put Morton over Kershaw. Then what's next? Then I have Corbin or Morton, and I'm gonna take a look. I don't know who I'm gonna like more yet. Low Woba for Morton. Velocity's there for Morton. But Corbin's got nasty stuff for 2 years. I got 14, 15. That's pretty similar. Who's inducing more ground balls? Corbin's slight edge there. Career average, Corbin with less walks per 9, higher K per 9 career average. I think I like Corbin more than Morton, and Corbin's going to give me those innings for sure. So that's something that I didn't consider with Morton versus Kershaw. A lot of the peripherals are good. So I guess, again, assuming Morton goes the full season, assuming he doesn't miss a ton of starts and gets us as many innings as Kershaw, Ooh, my gut tells me no, but I think I do it. Not over Corbin though. Let me just see for Kershaw. People have him ranked as low as 19. Okay, that's like reassuring that he keeps falling in my ranks. I feel a little better about that, but all right, Lucas Giolito. Big breakout year for him last year. Let's see where we think he can fit in. So let's just take a look at his stats overall. See what he did. So it was a couple years ago when he first was going to break out, or when he first came up to the majors with the Nationals, and didn't live up to the hype immediately. People were like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be so good," but he wasn't. But look at what he did last year. Look at this with the White Sox. 15 swinging strike, 94.3 miles per hour with the fastball. That's a huge jump from prior years. Way less hard hit and soft contact. His year last year was amazing. More fly balls, less ground balls, but less overall contact because the stuff was so nasty. Whatever he was doing, he really developed himself into a very, very good pitcher. Innings pitched 173, 176. I can imagine that this year he'll get over that 180 innings pitched hump. And look at the walks. He figured out the walks. He went from 4.67 the year before to 2.9. Huge difference. Huge difference. And look at the K minus walk percentage, 24. Mid-20s is excellent. Now the peripheral stats are a little higher here. Overall, like ERA whip, 3.41. 1.06 is very good. 3.41 is respectable. It was about the same as the ERA, so overall, like, he's pretty consistent. Pitching. So let's real quick. I just want to take a look at his Fangraph page, and maybe they have his prospects numbers. So like a 60 future value. That's very, very good for a pitcher. He was really projected to be an excellent pitcher. So if we look at the walks per 9 in the minors, when he got the AAA, 2.41, but then he had some troubles with walks here. He had some troubles with walks in this year. So you're kind of taking a gamble with him and hoping that he keeps the control that he found. And typically, what I would say is that, once pitchers in the major leagues kind of find their groove, I don't know what the percentages are, but I feel confident that they can do it, especially if they do it for a full season. He put in the full 176 innings pitched, was able to do that. Very, very good there. So I like what he did. I really do. Let's put him up. Lucas. He's going to get you the innings pitched. Him versus Kershaw, it's tough. It's the young guy, Lucas Giolito. What's his the fastball velocity? 94. Okay, he really bumped it up. 15. 15 is like Luis Castillo type numbers. The problem is going to be the concern for the walks. And if I'm not concerned about Luis Castillo's walks, then maybe I shouldn't be concerned about Lucas Giolito, because they both got similar nasty swinging strike. We just look Castillo versus Giolito. They're both young. Swinging strike is out of control. Castillo with more velocity, more ground balls. Lucas is not a ground ball type guy. He's a fly ball type guy. And he gives up. It's tough because he just put together one good season, and I really don't know where I want to rank him based on that. And it's difficult because I know some of you guys probably follow like pitcher list and like their list, their weekly updates throughout the season. If you look at the first week versus the last week, the rankings are so different because pitchers are really, really hard to predict, and then injuries come up, and there's just so many factors to consider. It's very difficult to predict the rankings for pitchers, you know. But I got to go more with talent, and there's a certain breaking point when you go talent versus experience. And Kershaw, I think I keep Kershaw. There's just too many unknowns with Lucas. He had one really good season. I'd like to see him replicate it. I'm concerned about the walk rate if he actually corrected it. So I'm okay keeping Kershaw. Kershaw's a little more of a sure thing. So I'm okay keeping it like this for now. So there we go. There's our top 15 starting pitchers. We'll see you next time for the top 20.